Hey y'all, it's Cal, and today is Thursday. As you've probably seen, this week's topic is like, what does it mean to be a man, or like, how to be a man, and as you've also probably seen, this is a very fucking difficult question. I've been like thinking about it a lot, trying to come up with some concrete answer, but this is honestly like, this has like, and I've thought about this a lot too, with, like within my own transition, because, obviously, like, FTM, female to male, like transitioning into being a man, but I've never quite figured out for myself what I think it means to be a man, or like why I feel like I am one, and I'm not even totally sure that I do. I mean, I know everything that I've done is right, and like I know 100% like this is a body I feel more comfortable with, and like he pronouns are pronouns that I like more. But when I think of like me and man, I don't always necessarily like, yep, that's me, or like I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I will proudly proclaim myself as a man, but I don't really know what that means. The way I've typically described myself is as a very feminine man, and I usually contrast that with how I was perceived pre-transition, or at least like pre-T. Because pre-T, everyone assumed I was this very masculine woman because, oh, I had short hair and I was wearing button-downs and, shit like that. So they were like, oh, but like, hearing my voice and looking at my body, they were like, oh, obviously that's a woman though. So they were like, got it, masculine woman. But internally, I felt like I was a very feminine man because, I really liked musicals and Cats, not Cats the musical, although I'm sure it's really great, don't know anything about it, but I like those things, and I like Taylor Swift's music and all these things, and I will like talk about that freely. So internally I felt like a very feminine man, and of course once I started T, that's the perception that now people have of me, but previously they didn't, and so that's something I think about, but that still doesn't really answer the question of what it means to be a man. But I guess, like, to me, the distinction between man and masculine is important. I don't know. Like, I guess, like, to be a man is not to be masculine. I feel like it's easier to think of things that, like, what a man is not. I don't know, it's hard. One thing I have been thinking a lot about, I don't want my identity as a man to be defined in opposition of what it means to be a woman. Like, okay, I had to read this book for my English class last semester, and it's called I Am Not Sidney Poitier. It's really fucking funny. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right. My professor pronounced everything wrong, so I don't know if this is correct pronunciation or not. I'm Not Sidney Poitier. Very funny book. I recommend it. But, and this ain't a spoiler or anything, but, like, the main character's name is not Sidney. And he's a character who looks just like the famous actor Sidney Poitier. Basically, his entire identity exists, like, in negation to Sidney Poitier. I mean, even as his name, I am not Sidney Poitier. So, like, he isn't anything on his own, he's just what Sidney Poitier isn't. But, like, when it comes to my, like, manhood and identity as man, I don't know what word is, like, the best to use for this, but when it comes to that, I don't want mine to be, like, just not a woman. Even though I feel like especially early transition, that's what it was. Like, I would be like, oh, to be a man, or to be seen as a man, and that's another distinction, which makes this all so fucking hard. But, like, to be seen as a man, or like, oh, I will walk with my legs more spread out because women walk with them close, or when I sit cross-legged, I will put my ankle on my knee because that is what a man does, whereas a woman crosses both knees over each other. And when I speak, I will speak in monotone because women have inflection and speak with their hands, so I will keep mine at my sides because that is what a woman does, but I am a man, so I don't do that. I feel like that kind of thinking is dangerous just because, like, it's putting this idea that, like, to be a woman is to be this bad thing, and I don't want to be, like, I don't want to do that. But I guess in not wanting my identity to just be not this other identity, I still don't know what that looks like necessarily. I mean, I know I feel like a man, kind of similar to what Max was saying, but like when you're a gentleman, like when I hold the door open for women, or when I offer my seat to them, I feel like a man. Or when I'm carrying my bike, because I've been biking a lot this summer, but I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment and we don't got an elevator. It's like when I'm carrying it down the stairs and everyone's like, oh, let me help you, like I feel emasculated when they offer help, and I feel more masculine when I do it myself. But then there you go, masculine is not the same as being a man, so then it's a loop, and I don't know how to get out of it. I mean, the kind of man I want to be is the kind of man that will stand up for what he believes in, and will fight for people who not necessarily aren't able to fight for themselves, but people who would be helped with support, as many people are, which I realize is hypocritical, because in the bike example, I didn't want any help, but someone offering help, I guess, according to this logic, would make them a man, but then I wouldn't want that. It's hard. You know what? I'm gonna bring up another book. I'm not usually, like, a booky person, Because personally, like, reading for me is something that I've struggled with for most of my life. Not like that I can't read, I can, but I'm slower at it than other people, which then kind of makes me want to, like, not read. But I've been getting into it more recently, especially because I took an English class where I had to do a lot of reading, and I'm better at it than I used to be. Yo, I'm sorry, y'all, it is so hot in here. I turned off the AC because I wanted, like, I didn't want that sound in the background, but, like, I'm dying. I'm not gonna turn it on. I'm gonna take off my shirt, which I realize is weird, but, like, I don't want to sweat all over that shirt. I don't have a lot of laundry left. Anyway, book. And this isn't an actual book. This is an e-reader, because I'm destroying literacy or something. The book is called Man Up, and it's a memoir by Carlos Andrés Gómez. He's a spoken word poet, and he, like, has done performances at my high school. He did them, like, 3 times while I was in high school, I think. And then he also, like, came to my college, too, and did a performance, so I've seen him a lot. So I figured his book would be, like, you know, a good thing to check out. And admittedly, I'm not done with the book. I still have, like, 70-ish pages to go, but I've been, like, as I've been reading it, I've been, like, highlighting stuff. And so I guess I'm just gonna read out some passages where I was like, yes, that's something that I want when I'm thinking of being a man. I began tutoring classmates after school and getting involved as a peer counselor. I noticed that I was someone my friends felt like they could confide in. I was the guy people felt like they could trust and open up to. And I read that, I'm like, yes, that's totally something I want. I mean, that's something that I kind of already am, but, like, a lot of people do trust me and will, like, come to me with their problems and, like, ask me for advice, and I think that's something, like, being able to be trustworthy, I think, is an important part of me being a man, and being able to help others. But then also, I think an important part of being a man is being able to recognize when you yourself need help, because it's, like, pushing away all the societal bullshit and recognizing when you need to take care of yourself, and I think that's really important and very manly in spite of what society would label it. Another thing that Carlos Andrés Gómez writes is, I still get too proud far too often in my life and refuse to humble myself to another person when I should. It's something I'm working on. It's part of this man I am becoming instead of trying to be. I really like that idea of, you know, whatever man I want to be isn't something that I'm trying to be, but it's something I'm becoming, and something that I'm, you know, I'm figuring out what exactly that is I want to become, but it's not an act. It's what's happening. It's not a goal, it's reality, and I think that's important. I want to be more than this narrow slice of humanity I've been given permission to taste. I'm tired of not being able to show affection to my brothers and friends. I'm tired of feeling self-conscious when I kiss or hug my father. I'm tired of feeling like I have to hide my emotion and my sensitivity. I'm tired of being stigmatized for wanting to communicate and express myself. I'm tired of needing to throw hurtful words like faggot or bitch or pussy around to prove that I'm a man. Masculinity is a choke chain. It is a suffocating bar that can never be met. How can every man alive be the toughest, and the most stoic, and the most brave, and the most powerful, and the most manly? Obviously there were some slurs in there that I actually didn't really remember, so sorry about saying those. But, and I mean, obviously Carlos is coming from a different perspective, being in that he is a cis, straight man. So while reading his book, actually a lot of stuff I couldn't connect with, but a lot of stuff I could, and it's an interesting read, and I'm not saying, you know, go read it, although you can if you want. But I think for me, in figuring out what kind of man I want to be, I think looking to other men is important, and I mean, I have men in my life who I respect and would like to emulate, but I don't feel like I have a lot of them. Like, most of my friends are women. Each day I'm alive, I try to give the world the best version of myself and treat each person with humanity and compassion, as I would hope to be treated. And a lot of the time I fall short. And I think, you know what, that's what I'm gonna end all this on, is that, like, ultimately for me, being a man, while, like, sure, there are the things that make me feel like a man, I guess, are, you know, they can be physical, like having facial hair. You can't see it because it's patchy and it's blonde, but it's there. Or, like, having a deep voice and, like, being able to sing bass if I want. Or, like, more recently, having a flat chest. All these things do make me feel more masculine, I guess, but they don't make me feel like a man. And I think ultimately being a man is just being a good person. And I would say that it's, you know, like being a hero or being brave. But, I mean, women do those things too, and I think when women are brave, and I forget the first word that I just said, but when they are those things, I think it's also a testament to them being, like, true women. Like, I guess to me, being, like, a true man or a true woman doesn't have anything to do with, like, the societal and, like, what kind of clothes you put on your body or how you speak or what, you know, hand gesticulation. Doesn't have to do with any of that. It really just has to do with being a good person and, like, a stand-up person. And the kind of man that I want to be is someone who is brave, but, like, not necessarily like physically, but like, someone who will stand up when they see injustice in the world. That's ultimately what I want to be when I think of being a man. I want to be a man who stands up in the face of injustice. On a last funny note, actually, I'll just leave y'all with a fun fact. I have I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan memorized in Spanish. Why? I don't know. Spanish is a language that's important to me. I haven't taken a Spanish class in a very long time, and I do what I can not to lose it, so sometimes I'll listen to Spanish music, or music in Spanish, rather, and I memorize it, and it does nothing for me, but, like, I'm never gonna need to say this, but it's something that I have.
Forgot to say goodbye. So, goodbye. I'll see y'all next week. Hope you're having a good week, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.
No puedo casi respirar, solo quiero despedirme. En la muerte siempre fui una decepción. De miedo los va a matar, que no va a descubrirme. Ojalá supiera yo de natación. Hombre ser. See, what am I gonna do with that? Nothing. But I fucking have it. Alright, bye.